The Sinking Ship by Billy Sunday. Years ago, there was a ship on the Atlantic and a storm arose. The ship sprung a leak, and in spite of all the men could do, they could not pump out the water fast enough. The captain called the men to him and told them that he had taken observations and bearings and said, unless the leak was stopped, in 10 hours the boat would be at the bottom of the sea. I want a man who will volunteer his life to stay the intake. It's in the second hold and about the size of a man's arm, and someone can place his arm in the hole and it will hold the water back until we can get it pumped out enough. But not a man stirred. They said they would go back to the pumps, and they did. They worked hard, and when a man dropped, they would drag him away and revive him and bring him back. The captain called them again and told them it was no use unless it was changed. They would be at the bottom before 10 hours unless someone volunteered, and in less time than that if a storm arose. Then one stepped back. What, my boy? Yes, father, I'll go. He sent some endearing words to his mother, took one last look at the sky, and kissed his father, and bade the sailors goodbye, and went below. He found the leak and placed his arm in it, and packed rags around it, and the men went back to the pumps. When day broke, they saw the body floating and swaying in the water, but the arm was still in the hole. And the vessel sailed into safe port. There, on the coast today, stands a monument to perpetuate the deed. 1900 years ago, this world sprung a leak. God asked for volunteers to stop it, and all the angels and seraphim stood back. Noah, Abraham, Elijah, Isaiah, David, Jeremiah, Solomon, none would go. And then forth stepped his son and said, Father, I'll go, and descended and died on the cross. But up from the grave he arose with a mighty triumph over his foes. He arose a victor from the dark domain, and he lives forever with his saints to reign. Hallelujah, Christ arose. He burst the bonds of death in the gates of heaven while the angels sang and would crown him yet. Let me stand between God and the people, and there he stands today, the mediator, with the salvation full, free, perfect, and eternal in one hand, and the sword of inflexible justice in the other. The time will come when he'll come with his angels. Someday he will withdraw his offer of salvation. Come and accept my Christ. Who'll come and get under the blood with me?